Welcome to SC Conversation. I'm your host, Brian Mosteller. Welcome to the show this week. We have a great show for you. Have Drew Hines and Dave Dupree from Washington Baptist Church in Greer. Welcome, guys.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Good,
Thanks,
good,
Brian.
Good. Drew, lead pastor there at Washington. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have had the great pleasure and privilege and honor of being the pastor at Washington Baptist Church for 20 years.
Wow.
And it's been a wonderful 20 years, and God's blessed us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're a kind of a Greer guy from a ways back with your wife and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So, how long you been married? You and your wife?
Well, this past August the 16th, as a matter of fact. 45 years.
45 years.
45 years. Yes, she deserves a medal for sure.
So she's actually the one that kind of brought you to Greer, right?
She is, yes. We went to Wade Hampton High School together, finished Wade Hampton, and her family originally, as you know, is from Greer. And so I went to the University of South Carolina, came back to Greer, worked at a local radio station in Greer. We were married. And then the Lord called me to preach. We went off to seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. And then we came back to this area to Ebenezer Welcome Baptist Church up in Landrum.
Ebenezer Welcome.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Highway 414.
Yeah.
Great church.
Great church. Mm-hmm. Great church. So at least you got back this way.
Yes.
So, Dave, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I have actually been at Washington for the past 3 months after in 44 years of ministry. I served in Columbia at Shandon Baptist Church for 24 years. Then I came to Greer First Baptist back in 2008, served there for 8 years. Then went to Fielder Church in Arlington, Texas for the past 5.5 years. And glad to be back in Greer finally and working with Drew and Trent and the wonderful staff and the church there at Washington. Great place to serve, and we're thrilled to be back in Greer. We have a lot of our family is in the Carolinas. We have some kids and grandkids in Asheville, some in Columbia, Charleston, Mooresville, North Carolina. Then we have a daughter and her husband and 2 grandkids in Vancouver Island, British Columbia. So,
oh wow,
we're glad to be with. And I have my mom. It's 90 years old, and she lives in Sumter. With my sister lives down there. So we're great to be back in the Carolinas.
Wow, so you went out to Texas on faith then, because
we
there was
did.
there was no family. It was faith there.
That's right. We had a great ministry out there. We really had a great experience, but thrilled to be back in Greer and to be working with Pastor Drew and the staff there. Great church.
Great. Glad to have you at Washington. You do a great job up there. I can tell you that firsthand. So, Drew, tell us a little bit about Washington.
Washington Baptist Church celebrated its 200th anniversary in 2019. And we had a great celebration at that time. And of course, your family has been a part of the Washington church history for many, many years. And the church has basically been in the same location for the whole time. And we've served the community, strived to serve the community, and serve the world through missions. Our church is a member of the Three Rivers Baptist Association, the South Carolina Baptist Convention, and the Southern Baptist Convention. And so we contribute not just money, not just funds, but we do a lot of work in the community through our food bank, our food pantry, which meets every Saturday morning and distributes food to those who come and distributes the Word of God to those who come because they hear a gospel message every Saturday morning before they receive food. So those are just a few of the things that we do in the community through our church.
Yeah, I know the food pantry is really big up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a lot of supporters of the food pantry, and I know a lot of people come, to the food pantry. So it's great, what you guys do up there. So tell us a little about your staff. I mean, Dave's a great addition to your staff, but I know you fill some other slots up there.
Dave is our first full-time minister of worship, music, and very first staff member to have the responsibilities of senior adults. Mrs. Carla Powers, for many years, was our part-time minister of music. She did a full-time work, more than full-time, in a part-time capacity. but Dave is now our full-time minister of worship. Our associate pastor is Reverend Trent Henson. Trent is a Blue Ridge boy and was a part of our church family. He followed in the footsteps of Reverend Joe Price, whom you know very well. And Joe served in the capacity as associate pastor for 16 years and did a marvelous job. And Trent has stepped right in and has continued to do just a fantastic job as our associate pastor at Washington. And then, of course, we have a secretarial staff. Mrs. Dana Salzman and Mrs. Sherry Smith do our secretarial work. And we have a large number of wonderful volunteers who fulfill different ministries and missions within the church. Our volunteers are just fantastic, and we thank God for them. God put them into our church for a time and a specific purpose, and He's so good at doing that.
Right.
And we're thankful that He does.
And then you got Travis.
Yes, Travis is
brother.
yeah, I wanted to talk about Travis because Travis has been, he's actually now our second longest serving staff member. Travis Henson. Travis Henson has been our minister of students now for 16 or 17 years, and he does a fantastic job with our youth. Travis is a teacher. He's a school teacher at Blue Ridge High School, also the head baseball coach. Mm-hmm. And he has such a heart for young people.
Right.
And I hope at some point you can get Travis and Trent on your program. That would be a great show.
Yeah, that'd be like a comedy show
It sure
to have
would.
all of us
Yeah.
to have all of us up here talking.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank God for them.
Yeah, they're great people. Now Tony Arms, she does a lot of the children's stuff, correct?
Up until the 1st of April,
Okay.
Tony was our minister to children.
Okay.
And she continues to serve.
Good.
She's no longer in the capacity,
Okay.
but she and Mrs. Melanie Hughes both have such a heart for children, and we have a wide array of others who serve in our children's ministry. We have a very active children's ministry at Washington.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us some of the programs that you have up there at Washington. I know you guys do a variety of things over the course of the year.
Well, Dave can help me out here.
Okay.
He may want to talk. I know he'll want to talk about our music.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I've really appreciated about being at Washington is the level of volunteerism which Drew was talking about earlier. I mean, our people take care of the buildings and grounds. They take care of the ministries of the church, the missions of the church. They do the teaching. They handle so many areas of the church that a lot of churches would have paid staff doing, and these people have great hearts for the ministry. Sitting in on deacons meetings and other committee meetings, it just gives you a great appreciation for the level of the people are involved. In fact, some of the ministries, I just come in as a worship pastor, we had a tremendous person who was leading our senior adult ministry, Rita Williams, and she has been doing this for 16 or 17 years. And so she's just coming along, so I'm coming alongside Rita, and we're working together to develop, maybe taking that senior adult ministry to another level as far as involvement, ministry, helping people identify that their life mission is more important than just resting and relaxing and doing fun things. It's still using your life for God's service. Then our worship ministry, we have children's choirs and a youth choir and our adult choir. And then Christmas time, this is really one thing that stands out at Washington. We'll have a hanging of the green. The last Sunday of November, we'll have a children's ministry presentation. The first Sunday night of December, we'll have the adult choir presentation. The second Sunday night, we'll have a youth presentation. The third, we'll have our Christmas Eve service at 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve. And it's an active time of year. We just got finished with Vacation Bible School and our SAM camp, which is sports, arts, and what is
Music.
it? And music, yeah. SAM, I got the music, sports, arts, and music, our SAM camp, where the children came during the week, and they had great experiences in all three aspects of that. And then we'll kick off our Awana ministry here on September the 5th. which it really helps kids to get into the Word of God and memorize Scripture and really just be discipled in amazing ways. So it's been really impressive and exciting to be a part of a church that has so many great ways to disciple people of all ages.
That's great, and I know Washington has probably, and I don't say the biggest because I don't know about all the churches, but one of the biggest in the area, Awana, because it is, y'all have done that for years, and the volunteers and everybody that gets involved in that is just outstanding, and the kids that you actually, mentor and lead to Christ and everything. So that's phenomenal. And on your graduation Sunday, I know there was a lot of graduates that went through the Awana program there, and they had their Bible verses that their life verses were from the Awana program. So that's just phenomenal that a church can keep people there for that long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like with longevity. But one thing I know, at Washington, I got one of your bulletins here, and I love your statement here because at the top of the bulletin, because it kind of reminds me of me in a way. It says, when you're at Washington, you're at home. Well, my family's been at Washington for years. Then, I grew up at Zoar, more Methodist, but then came back to the Baptist. But you really do feel at home, at Washington. You come in, people are so friendly. The greeters, you just feel at home. You just feel at home there. And we appreciate all you guys are doing there.
Well, thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much for, bringing the Lord up there on top of the hill. Well, actually going down the hill,
That's
but
right.
you go on the other side.
On the other side of my stellar hill,
On the
right?
other side of my side of the hill.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but thank you guys so much. And I'll invite you back anytime you want to come.
We'd love to come. Thank you, Brian.
I would like to take this time to thank all of the wonderful people and businesses who are sponsoring this show. When you visit the businesses, be sure to go in and tell them thank you for sponsoring SC Conversation.
Hardwood flooring is the most popular kind of flooring, and no one has a larger selection of hardwood flooring than Greer Flooring Center. Remember, you'll always find what you're looking for at the price you're looking for at Greer Flooring Center.
Hey, Upstate, Dave Ramsey here to tell you about our investing ELPs, Roger Sims and Jason Carr at Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Roger and Jason are the only people I personally endorse for investing right here in the Upstate. They specialize in retirement planning, 401k rollovers, as well as mutual funds and other investments. I personally recommend Roger Sims and Jason Carr of Sims & Carr Financial Solutions. Call Roger and Jason today at 879-0337. That's 879-0337.
All South Carolinians are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccines. For help finding a vaccine location in your area, visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110. COVID-19 vaccines are free and don't require ID or insurance. Visit scdhec.gov/vaxlocator or call 1-866-365-8110 to find a vaccine location near you. Hello, my name is Brian Mosteller, host of SC Conversation.
We're here today talking with Greg and Ashley from Boy Scouts of America. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Great. Glad y'all are here. So tell us a little bit about the mission of the Boy Scouts.
Okay, great. I'll introduce who I am. I'm Greg Balog. I'm the Executive Director for the local Boy Scouts and been here since last November. Grew up a scout in this council, but our mission in the Blue Ridge Council, we cover eight counties in the upstate, is to ensure all young people living within our counties are prepared for life by making ethical and moral choices, by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and Law.
Okay. So being a scout, what exactly does that mean?
I think it means a lot, and Ashley may be able to help me out with this a little bit, but being a scout means just exploring your ideas for what you're interested in, whether it's hobby ideas or career ideas. It's just exploring your interests in a hands-on learning environment. You have positive adult role models like Ashley, who's a volunteer for our council, that volunteer their time to make sure that kids are having fun and are equipped with the skills necessary to be productive citizens.
Okay. So Greg, tell us a little bit about your history.
So my history, I grew up here in the upstate of South Carolina. I was a scout in the Blue Ridge Council, Cub Scout and a Boy Scout. Went to Camp Old Indian when I was a kid and got to learn how to tie knots and use a hot spark to get a little fire going and some survival skills, and just made a lot of lifelong friends that have been with me through adulthood. My parents, they were foster parents, and which drew my interest in a career in scouting into adulthood. I grew up with kids that came from various forms of neglect, abuse, and just seeing the need that children have for positive adult role models. And there is no program like scouting to make sure kids are out there in a safe environment and having fun.
Yeah, it's funny you say you grew up and you were in Scouts here in the Blue Ridge Council. Well, so was I.
Yeah.
So I was an Eagle Scout, Troop 41, matter of fact, and our church, your church over in Greer, sponsored the Scout troop, and it was a very big troop. Matter of fact, I think at one time we probably had more Eagle Scouts than anybody. This was back in 79 to 84, time frame. But scouting, was a big part of our life because we had so much fun. We went to Camp Old Indian. Everything was great. We had great, scoutmasters. The church was a great sponsor. I don't know if you went and sold the fruitcakes. Did y'all do that?
I didn't sell the fruitcakes.
We sold those $5 fruitcakes. We sold tens of thousands of them. And, but we would go out and do things like we would cut church cemeteries, for instance, for money, to try to raise money to, go on different trips. And it's funny, a couple of the doctors in town had some land. So that's where we would do, we would go to like a camporee, we called it back then, and a lot of different troops would go up there. So scouting was very big, back then. It seems not to be quite as big now. I think a lot of the reason is because of sports and like travel baseball, travel basketball, things like that. Because back when I was young, you played a sport, then you were done. That's and right. But now they go on and on and on, and it seems like people, parents are not getting their kids into scouting as much. But I tell you, it's just a great thing for anybody to get their kid into. I mean, Scout, it taught me so much, and even though I'm an Eagle Scout, I know a lot of people who didn't make it all the way to Eagle Scout, which was fine, but they still grew, and they're still great people and all, and they teach their kids different things, camping and all that. So
we do still serve, and I just would like to say over 6,000 youth. So we are a large organization. We serve a ton of youth locally, and of which around 2,200 of those we would consider at-risk youth, and these are youth that come from economic circumstances where they may not be able to afford to pay for the program, where we do outreach efforts and pay as a local council to ensure every child has an opportunity to be a part of our program. So still a large organization, and any young person, whether they have the financial means to participate or not, can be served through our local council.
That's great. That's great. So Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Currently serving on the local council executive board. I also serve on the National Scouts BSA committee, but more importantly, I'm a Scout mom. So I have 3 boys, 15, 10, and 8. All 3 are in the program. My husband and I were not in Scouts, Girl Scouts, or Boy Scouts growing up. It was just, we were sports people. Mm-hmm. And so our boys are both athletes and Scouts. So I don't think the 2 are mutually exclusive. Our boys play sports year round. And to accommodate that, for example, our pack and troop meets on Sundays. That way, during the week, they can go and they can play soccer or baseball or football, and then have their games on Saturday and come to Scouts on Sunday. And it's been a really unique opportunity to do Scouting as a whole family. It's a really special time. I mean, especially at the Cub Scout level, to go on a pack camp out with the whole family, and our Scout pack has become, we call it our Scout family. They've become an extended family, and most of them are also members of our church, but not necessarily, but everybody's welcome, and we just have a really great time. And I've seen my boys grow, and especially my 15-year-old, he's a Life Scout right now, and he's just grown into this extraordinary young man through Scouting, who's really learned how to be a leader, how to be a servant leader. Like you were talking about community service, and they really teach them how to lead with a servant's heart. And that's one of the big things that comes out of Scouting is they just, incredible people grow up from the Scouting program. So couldn't be happier to be part of this organization, and Scouting's grown up. Scouting has grown up also, along with the kids. So,
well, that's great, and I'm glad you mentioned the thing about on Sundays, because that's one thing I liked about Scouts so much. It's not a set time frame of when you have to do something. You can move it around to do things at different times. So I think that's great. Yeah. So I've heard something about the Female Eagle Scout program. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Ashley?
Sure. So there's a new term out called Family Scouting, and that doesn't mean that the whole family is scouting together in a specific troop. It just means that we have a program for everyone in the family right now. So at the Cub Scout level, we have packs, and there are girl and boy dens that are separate. And then at the Scouts BSA level, which used to be called Boy Scouts, is now Scouts BSA, we have male and female troops. So they are totally separate. The female troop has female leadership, the male troop has male leadership, and this is going to be the first time that we've ever had female Eagle Scouts. So they have, I believe, until the end of January, beginning of February, and then we will have our first inaugural class of female Eagles that will be celebrated on the birthday of Scouts on February 21st of 2021. So exciting times.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'd heard something about that, but I didn't know much about it. But that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So what are the different programs that are available in through the Scouts?
Sure. So we've got Cub Scouts, which starts now at kindergarten, which is our Lion program. So it runs from kindergarten to 5th grade. Again, open to boys and girls. They are in the same pack, but they meet in separate dens. And then beginning in 6th grade is what we call our Scouts BSA, which is our flagship program. And that runs from 6th grade all the way up until they earn Eagle Scout, and then they can stay until they're 18 years old. We also have what is called, and Scouts BSA is now open to boys and girls in separate troops. And then we have a program called Venturing. A lot of people aren't familiar with Venturing, but it is our high adventure program. So once our Scouts hit 14 years old, boys and girls, they have the opportunity to join Venturing, which is kind of the cool stuff. I mean, everybody thinks when you hit the Scouts BSA level, the rubber hit the road, but Venturing, I mean, climbing, whitewater rafting, ATV riding, all of the really fun high adventure stuff happens in Venturing. And then we also have Exploring. And you might be I'm not totally familiar with Exploring, but it's usually through a fire department, a police department. There are some medical posts, but that is a little more career driven than Venturing. But we've got opportunities from kindergarten to 21 years old to participate in Scouting right now as what we consider a youth.
Wow. That's great. That's great.
There's place for everybody.
Yeah, we actually had an explorer troop for a little while after, a lot of us got, the Eagle Scouts, and then we did an explorer troop. So how do people join?
I guess I could answer that.
Okay.
It's can contact me directly as the executive director for the council. You can visit our website, www.blueridgecouncil.org, or you could contact our office directly, 864-233-8363, or go to beascout.org, and any one of those measures would be a great way to get involved.
Okay. Is there a time frame to sign up? I mean,
there
sign
isn't.
up anytime, or how does that work?
Scouting kind of follows the school calendar. However, the youth learn at their own pace and participate at their own pace. So any time of the year is a great time of year to join Scouting.
Okay. So what all kind of camps do they have now? I guess Camp Old Indian is still around, right?
Oh, yeah.
What are some of the other ones that are around?
So Camp Old Indian is still our local camp. Camp Arrowhead is a camp that we have out in the Greenwood area. And we'll serve roughly 1,500 youth in the summer. We offer programs throughout the summer, whether it's Cub Scout day camp programs or Boy Scout or Scout BSA resident camp programs. So a lot going on out at camp.
Yeah, and Scouts BSA Summer Camp, I have to say, is the best bang for your buck in terms of summer camp programming. The cost for a Scouts BSA Summer Camp is half of what you would find for any other overnight camp in the upstate, and they have a ton of fun, and they come home totally exhausted and dirty.
That's great. That's great. Well, hey, thank y'all so much for coming, Greg, Ashley. Really appreciate it. Keep pushing the Boy Scouts, because I know I am. Anything you ever need or want to come back on or have somebody on, just let me know, because that's a great organization. It was for me and my family and my cousins and everybody I used to go to church with. We're still, like you said, lasting friendships through that. Yeah. So again, thank you so much for SC Conversation. Thanks again to our guests and our wonderful sponsors. Remember, you can stay informed about SC Conversation during the week on our Facebook page and website. Also, feel free to send us an email at info@scconversation.com. Thanks for watching, and have a great evening.